All right, welcome back everybody to Altcoin Daily, where you subscribe for a video on cryptocurrency every day. My name's Austin. Today we have major news involving Bitcoin, involving Litecoin, as well as Cardano, and much, much more. So like always, check the timestamps down below in the video description. And let's start with Bitcoin, because what we're seeing is some very interesting price action for Bitcoin in the last few days. Last week, Bitcoin and the crypto markets recorded one of the deepest price retracements since March 2020, Black Thursday. In fact, looking at the day chart for Bitcoin, we can see this drop from about a $64,000 Bitcoin all the way down to about a $47,000 Bitcoin, found support at the 100-day moving average, and then was met by a wave of buying pressure. Now, where this price goes in the short term is anybody's guess. But what's interesting to me is because the block reward for Bitcoin is halved every 4 years, and because we've seen Bitcoin go through 4-year cycles, history is repeating in more ways than one. For example, this is starting to play out scary close. This is a comparison of Bitcoin's price action in bull markets. Yellow represents 2013, orange 2017, red 2021 today. Now pay attention to what the X and Y axis represent. Down here we have days, specifically days since the 100% recovery of previous all-time high until the bear market, until a 70% drop after the new all-time high. Okay, that makes sense. So in 2021, for us this year, it started when Bitcoin passed its previous all-time high, $20,000. Now just for simplicity, this other axis represents Bitcoin's price scaled to 2021. Okay, that makes sense. So we know not all prior bull markets started at 20K. They started when Bitcoin surpassed its previous all-time high, and in this case, it scaled to where we are in 2021. Now, what's the point? What does this mean to me? Number one, it shows us that it's very common to have a very bullish January, February, maybe even March. And also, it's just as common to see these 25 to 35% pullbacks, corrections in the market. So if you're just focused on the short-term, small time frame, day-to-day price for Bitcoin, these pullbacks can seem soul-crushing. They can be scary. But when in doubt, zoom out, look at the bigger picture. This is very normal in bull markets. The second thing it tells us is this gives us more of an insight onto when possibly Bitcoin's price could top later this year. The all-time high back in 2013 happened a total of 287 days after it had surpassed its previous all-time high. The all-time high 4 years ago back in 2017 happened a total of 289 days after it had surpassed its previous all-time high. If history is any indication on what we should expect this time around in 2021, expect the all-time high for Bitcoin for this year either around September 15th or September 13th, based on the supply and the demand of the network and based on prior bull markets. What do you think? In my opinion, history doesn't necessarily repeat, but it does often rhyme. And thus far, based on the prior 2 bull cycles, we're rhyming pretty hard. Now, the bull cycles do seem to be getting a little less explosive every 4 years. If this stays the same, that would end this cycle between about $150,000 to a $200,000 Bitcoin. Also noticed by Plan B, nice chart. That puts us at a $70,000 Bitcoin in 22 days. I'm ready. Give me your thoughts down below in the comment section. If anything, with Bitcoin, expect the unexpected. But let's come back to this chart and check back in 22 days and see how accurate Bitcoin's history repeating potentially is. Now, altcoins definitely making news. We're going to talk about the graph. First piece of altcoin news, Litecoin founder Charlie Lee was just on CNBC giving LTC some major press. Watch this.
How would you describe in a layman's terms the difference between LTC and BTC?
Yeah, well, the simple way to think about it, I always see Bitcoin as digital gold and Litecoin as digital silver. So it's kind of silver to Bitcoin's gold. So if you understand how Bitcoin works very similar to gold in terms of mining and everything, Litecoin works very similar to silver. So it's kind of the layman's Bitcoin.
And so from a blockchain perspective, from a transactional perspective, maybe not from a fractional perspective, and that's, I think, one of the key differences in terms of the decimalization of Bitcoin down to 8 different levels, the Satoshi. Are there any fundamental differences on the back end on how they operate, Charlie?
Yeah, the main difference is it uses a different mining algorithm. So it has a different set of miners than Bitcoin. It's faster. It has more coins than Bitcoin, has 4 times as many coins, and it's also 4 times faster. So Bitcoin transactions happen every 10 minutes. Litecoin transactions happen on average every 2.5 minutes.
What do you think? It's interesting because in this aspect as well, with altcoins, history is repeating again, as we're seeing the same narratives resurface, right? Litecoin is the silver to Bitcoin's gold. Same narratives that we saw 4 or 5 years ago in 2017. Now, you've all seen my Litecoin price prediction for the end of this year. Seek out Altcoin Daily Litecoin. Watch this if you haven't already. But in my opinion, there's a reason we're seeing massive accumulation from institutions, specifically with Bitcoin. Why aren't institutions caring as much about Litecoin? Well, great perspective from BTC Sessions. Anybody watching this, here's the price history of Litecoin as priced in Bitcoin. It's been a slow 10-year grind towards zero with a few pump and dumps peppered in, right? Litecoin is up in USD value, but against BTC value, it's way down. Now, obviously, it makes great trading, swing trading opportunities, but you let me know down below, are you bullish on Litecoin? PayPal and Venmo added it. They certainly are. Are you? Next piece of news for JP Morgan. In a lot of ways, this was inevitable. JP Morgan to let clients invest in Bitcoin funds through them for the first time. It will be as soon as this summer, and its NYDIG will be the fund's custody provider. What is that saying? First they ignore you, then they laugh at you, then you win? Is that it? And just for perspective, remember, it was Jamie Dimon who announced he would fire any JP Morgan employee for trading Bitcoin when BTC was at a $4,100 level. But now they'll be tasked with managing an actively traded fund for clients at a $53,000 plus dollar level. Feels good. Feels good. Now, very quickly, in terms of the details, this is what we know thus far. JP Morgan's Bitcoin fund will be actively managed, according to multiple sources, and that's a big break from the passive management or support offered by crypto industry stalwarts like Pantera Capital and Galaxy Digital, which let well-heeled clients buy and hold Bitcoin through funds without ever touching it themselves. So JP Morgan is going to actively manage these funds for their clients. And guys, this has got to be a direct reaction to Morgan Stanley offering similar funds to their clients. Give me your thoughts down below. First, there was Morgan Stanley, now presumably JP Morgan. Who's next? Is there anybody left? Next up, very quickly, let's talk about crypto IRAs. For those of you looking for a quality crypto IRA, basically if you want to trade cryptocurrency tax-free, I want to take 60 seconds and give you a recommendation. I like iTrust Capital. They are a partner of the channel, but I also personally use them. So with iTrust, you can not only buy, sell, and trade cryptocurrency tax-free, but also precious metals in your IRA as well. So you can trade 24/7, there's no hidden fees, everything is very transparent. And the thing I like is they have institutional custody, they are insured, they're backed, so your digital assets are secured. I will link my full video breakdown on how to realize gains and trade tax-free, linked down below. And be sure to use the promo code ALTCOIN in all caps or click the link down below to get your first month free. But like I said, I use them and I think they're a great option if you're looking for an IRA. Next piece of news for Cardano. IOHK just had a major interview in Forbes titled Cardano and Ethereum Founder Analyzes the Newest Evolutions in Crypto and Blockchain Technology. This is undeniably pretty significant coverage from a notable publication for cryptocurrency, but especially Cardano. And you can find this online and look at all the questions, all the answers. It was a long interview. The one question that I found the most interesting was this. From the Forbes interviewer, more than 70% of Cardano is staked right now. For Polkadot, it's about 64%. Ethereum is far below. what do you think is a healthy amount of an asset to be staked during some of the early stages as well as maturity? So what is an ideal amount of the network to be staked? This is one of those apples and oranges things. When you talk about staking in a bonded system, which is not Cardano, I believe, which have lockup periods that can span days to over a year, you're actually making a very significant statement. Because what's happening is you're saying that your stake is locked and people can't move it and they can't spend it. That means that those tokens have been taken out of the supply. Staked tokens being locked are what happens in many other protocols. When you look at staking in Cardano, they're always liquid. There's no bonding required. So that means that's still a liquid stake, and that's one of the biggest confusion points we tend to see. With Cardano, they tend to think that that means the circulating supply is much worse, much bigger than it actually is. Interesting. So I think what Charles is saying is you can't really compare percentage of the different altcoin networks of staking, because with Cardano, it's easy for the majority of it to be staked because it's all still liquid. Compared to other protocols, if you stake it, it's often locked. So it's just more apples to oranges. The other thing that he mentioned that makes Cardano different is that our system also has voting on-chain. And outside of Tezos, we're probably the most advanced there. That means when you have your stake, not only can you delegate it to somebody else if you choose, you can also use it to vote on funding proposals and change the chain as a whole. This all happens on-chain with Cardano, as opposed to, I believe, Ethereum 2.0, it would have to happen off-chain. Either way, Cardano holders should like this. Pretty cool. Next piece of altcoin news for the Graph. The Graph integrates with Moonbeam and brings indexing and querying to the Moonbeam smart contract platform on Polkadot. So this is major adoption for the Graph altcoin, and as we know, Moonbeam, which is the Ethereum-compatible smart contract platform on Polkadot, which will bring Ethereum dApps to the Polkadot network, announced today that the Graph-hosted service has integrated their protocol onto the Moonbeam testnet and Moonbase Alpha. The Graph is a widely used decentralized protocol for indexing and querying data from blockchains. And again, what this means to you is that by bringing the Graph to Moonbeam, developers on Ethereum who want to expand to Polkadot will be able to build, publish, and use subgraphs in the Polkadot-based environment. Very cool to see. Keep the Graph on your radar. That is the video for today. My name's Austin. See you tomorrow. Have a great day.